Hello all, my name is Rahman and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And in this video, we are going to talk about the virtual machines, like what are virtual machine, why they are very important to us, and we are actually going to create the virtual machine using the Microsoft Azure or Azure Portal. So let's go ahead and get started. If you remember guys, I already created a virtual machine using the virtual box in the series of machine learning with Python. So for some reasons, I need to use the virtual machine. So I installed an application called the VirtualBox from where I used virtual machine. So basically what I actually done is I installed an app called as VirtualBox, and then I installed something called as the Ubuntu images, so Ubuntu files, all of those stuff, and then I uploaded those files on the VirtualBox. Then I started to use the Ubuntu operating system as a virtual machine. But in this video, we are not going to do all of those stuff. So we are going to just do that in some steps, 5 to 6 steps using the Azure portal. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, let's talk about what actually is virtual machine. Now imagine that you have a powerful computer. Now a virtual machine is like a computer within a computer. Now it's a way to create a pretend computer that acts just like a real one, even though it's actually a software running on our main computer, right? Now this pretend computer or a virtual machine can run its own operating system and a software just like a regular computer. Now it's a handy tool because you can use it to test things without affecting your main computer, or you can use it to run different operating systems on the same physical computer. Now, one benefit that we have right now is that, for example, you have a main computer, now you install some application, or you're just developing an app or a browser, something like that, but you want to test that. So it's going to affect in your drives, all of those is stuff is going to happen. Now at the end, so there is some problem with your computer. Now you need to reset your computer, right? So everything is going to be deleted. But what if we do that with the virtual machines, right? We can reset the virtual machine, right? We can create 2 3 virtual machines, and then we can save our app or the browser or the project that we are actually working in. So that's the benefit with the virtual machine. Now think of it like having a separate room in your house where you can set up a whole new computer environment, complete with its own softwares, files, and the settings without needing an extra physical computer. Now imagine that you have a special computer inside your regular computer. For example, you have a computer, let's suppose it, and then you have a special computer inside that computer. Now this special computer can pretend to be any kind of computer you want. It's like having a secret room in your room where you can make a new whole world with its own rules and games. Now this special computer is called as the virtual machine, right? Now there are a lot of benefits with the virtual machine. So some benefits are like, so you can create your own virtual machine and you can run some apps. For example, on your main computer you don't have that much space, then you can use the virtual machine where you can store your data just by paying the paying the money. Okay, and then one more benefit is that, for example, as I said, that if you're running some app or developing an app, so there is some problem with your computer, you can run that on the virtual machines, or you can test that on the virtual machines. So there are a lot of benefits of using the virtual machines. So from that time we were talking about the what are virtual machines, how they are important, how they are useful, all of the stuff. But now, what actually is virtual machine in the Microsoft Azure, right? Now, virtual machines are really important to us because they let us do a bunch of cool things with computers without needing a lot of physical hardware. Now, imagine that you have a just real one computer, but you need to run different types of softwares that might not work well together. For example, you have some application that you want to download. Okay, you can install it on the Windows, but sometimes it's going to show you error, or it's going not going to work, but it's working well on the Ubuntu or Linux system, right? So you can do that by virtual machine. You can use the virtual machine, and then you can run that app or whatever. Now now virtual machines let you create the multiple fake computers on the real computer. Now it's not like you can just create one virtual machine and then use that, then delete that, and then create again. No. So how much you want, you can create it. For example, if you want 2 or 3, if you want 5, if you want 10, how much you want, you can create it. Now this is the benefit with the virtual machines. For example, we are working on 3 projects, then you can create 3 virtual machines, okay, with the Azure. Now creating a virtual machine, there are a lot of ways, but creating virtual machine with the Azure portal is very simple and very easy to use. Now, as I said, I already created the virtual machine using the virtual box. So at that time, I faced a lot of problems for downloading that and for setting up that. But with the Azure, there are no, we are not going to get a lot of problems, or we are not going to get any problems. So anyhow, let's start by creating a virtual machine. Now, as you can see on this computer that we have, I already opened portal.azure.com, right? So it's the dashboard for the Azure where we can create the storage accounts or the databases or the virtual machines. One more thing I want to say is that virtual machines are also used as the databases where we can save, where we can work on our SQL server like servers, right? So these are the benefits. Now, Microsoft Azure is not, we can use that as free. So if you are using the Microsoft Azure for the first time, then you can use it as a free trial for 2 months. Okay, 2 months or something like $200 credit, something like that. Right now my free trial is ended, so that's why I am using the paid version. Now the paid version is not like you have just paid for 1 month or 2 months, so it's like how much you are using per virtual machine, or what are you creating database or the SQL server, or you are creating a storage account or the resource group, all of the stuff. Now I have the pay as you go, which means that for example if I create one virtual machine, then it's going to cost me, imagine that it's going to cost me around 10 rupees. So it's depending on how much I'm creating, like how much storage I'm creating, what I'm creating, and how much storage, what which operating system I'm using. So it's depending on that. So it's not only going to take 10 rupees, but it's depending on what you're creating. Now before creating a virtual machine, I want to show you one thing, and that is that you that is Azure Price Calculator. Now I'm going to open a new tab and just type Azure Pricing Calculator. Now this is a place where you can check, where you can, what you say, where you can actually calculate your Azure. We can, where you can actually estimate how much it's going to take, right? For example, let's say that you want to create a virtual machine. Now on the Azure pricing calculator, what you have to do is you have to search for the product. Right now, virtual machine is in front of me. So I'm going to click on this one, virtual machine. So virtual machine is added. So now let's view it. Now there are a lot of things that we have to do right now. For example, now the which operating system, which virtual machine that you want to create. So you want the virtual machine about the Ubuntu or Windows. So I'm going to choose it as the Linux. So Ubuntu Linux, so it's going to come all around that. Now which one you want, which virtual machine, like for the Ubuntu you want, for the Windows 10, Windows 11, for which operating system the virtual machine you want. Now I'm going to choose, so as you can see here, there are a lot of options that you can use. So I'm going to see all of the images you can see here, right? So yeah, as you can see, you can use for the Windows Server, Windows, Microsoft Windows 10, Windows 11, Ubuntu Server. So there are a lot of options. So from all of them, I'm just going to choose here the Windows. Sorry, where did it went? Yeah, I think it went back again. Let's create it again. So yeah, anyhow, let's use the existing one. Which one was? Yeah, we created something called as the WinRE. WinRE. Okay, which means Windows Resource Group. And then I'm going to give here the Windows virtual machine, Windows 10. And then I have the South India. Then again the standard. Then now I'm going to choose here the Windows 10. Okay. So for that, what I will do is I'm going to select this. Then the Windows 10 Pro version 22 H2. Okay. Then now, after selecting this Windows 10 Pro version, you're going to get something like this page. Now, what you have to do is you don't need to select this Run with Azure Spot account. Just we need to select the ARM64 is not supported with the selected image. We'll be talking about this. What is ARM 64 x 64 later on. So anyhow, let's give here the size. we just want the basic one, right? So I'm going to give here the standard DS1. So version 2, 1 vCPU, virtual machine CPU, then 3.5 GB memory. We are getting that. If we use this for daily or hours continuously, then we are going to get 4,815.74 per month rupees, right? Now I have to give here the username. So I'm going to give my name and then the password. I have already created a password. So now I'm going to confirm here the password. So what I have given right now. So I will be giving the password that I already created. Okay, sorry. Okay, now it's matching for the password that I have already given. Right now, you don't need to allow. You don't need to do all of those stuff. Now, yeah. Anyhow, we will be talking about RTP. What are them? Now, you have to select this one. I confirm. I have an eligible Windows 10 or 11 license with multi-tenant hosting rights. So let's select this one because after creating the virtual machine, you are going to get some problems. Now we have selected all of the stuff, right? Now let's go to the next disks. So we don't need to check these stuff, but yeah, standard disk for web servers, yeah, but we don't need to do this stuff, right? So it's going to be as it is. So I'm not going to change anything in this thing. So let's go ahead. Next, yeah, next monitoring advantage. So one more thing that you can do is on the basic tab itself, you just click on the review and create. So it's going to just show you how it does look like, what are the things that it's going to create. Now I'm just creating here the one virtual machine. Now the subscription credit apply here is this 6.5969 INR per hour, right? So you can see here I have selected all of the stuff. I have created this. I have not just created, I have just given here the settings. Now I am actually going to create the virtual machine. Just click on the create. It's going to take some time for creating, right? Now it's in the deployment is in progress. Now guys, as you can see here on the screen that my deployment is completed, right? So it's showing me that, yeah, your deployment is completed, which means that the virtual machine is actually created. Now I want a lot of ways to create virtual machine, but this is the one way that we can create. Now we can create a virtual machine using the CLI command line interface. So we'll be talking about that later on. Now let's use the virtual machine. After creating, you can just click on the go to resource, that which means that you can see the virtual machine that you have created. Now guys, what you have to do is we have to press window R on our computer, and then we have to just type mspsc. So what it does is it's going to open the remote desktop connection, or we can also type here the remote desktop connection. So from two places we can open it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the IPA public IP address, and then I'm going to paste it here in this one. Okay. Now I'm going to connect this. Click on the connect. Now it's asking me the password. So okay, now let's click on the okay. Now it's showing me some error. So let's leave it. Let's ignore this. Now I'm going to click on the yes. Okay. So as you can see here on the screen that my screen changed just now. My screen is just blank right now, which means that Windows virtual machine is actually opening. As you can see here that it's actually opening, right? So let's wait for some time. Now there's a lot more difference between the Windows 10 machine and my actual computer. Now I'm going to minimize the screen. As you can see here, this is my actual window. Okay, this is my actual window. But when I click on the remote desktop, it's opening the virtual machine that we have created, called as the Win 10 virtual machine, Windows 10 virtual machine using the Azure, right? So as you can see here, now one more thing that you can see is on the top, it's showing a bar, right? Now when I click on the minimize, it's minimizing. Now as you can see, parallelly I'm able to use the Windows 10 and Windows 11. So same thing for the Ubuntu also, we can do this kind of stuff with Ubuntu. Now I'm going to do some settings here. Now so we don't need to do a lot of stuff in this one, just because this is a virtual machine, we can delete this anytime, right? Now let's click on the accept. So it's going to take some time for opening, right? Yeah, as you can see here that our Windows 10 virtual machine has been opened. Now I can use all of the things that I am able to use. Now if I open the taskbar, okay, as you can see here, all of the apps are available here, like the OneNote and the Microsoft Edge. Now here I am able to use this one. So let's open the Microsoft Edge and see that are we able to use this one or not. So let's open youtube.com. Okay. Yeah, so as you can see, it's taking some time for opening, just because that we have created the virtual machine, so we are not on our actual computer. So I'm going to start without my data. Yeah, yeah, okay. So here what I will do is I'm going to open my new tab, and then just type youtube.com/. I'm going to open my channel. So it's going to open because it's taking the Wi-Fi network from my actual computer that I have. So for example, if I minimize this, as you can see here that my Wi-Fi is here, right? Now it's also going to connect these things with the shutdown or disconnect, and then you could also directly close it. After that, if you don't want to use this virtual machine again, then you can click on the delete if you want to delete. But the one thing that you need to do is click on the stop, just because it may cost you many price, many money, right? Just because, for example, you created the virtual machine, but when you are not actually working on the virtual machine, then it may cost you a lot of money, because it thinks that you are using the virtual machine. So in the background it's actually running the virtual machine, but you don't know that it's running or it's working or not. So now I'm going to close this one. So I want to show the way. So let's directly close it. Click on the Windows 10 virtual machine, my actual virtual machine. Now I want to stop this or delete this. What I can do is click on the stop. Yeah. Now, as you can see, you are going to get a message that stopping the virtual machine Windows 10 Win 10 VM that we have created. Okay. Now, as you can see here the status. Always you have to check here the status when, as you can see, it's showing me as the running, which means that it's actually running right now. Now if it showed you this something called as the stop or something like that, which means that it's not running right now. So you have to be very careful about that. So as you can see here, this virtual machine is stopped. You are able to see this. So here it's actually, yeah, as you can see, successfully stopped the virtual machine. Now one more thing, that if you want to start, just click on the start, then it's again going to restart the virtual machine. So yeah, now if you want to delete this, just click on this delete, then you can delete all of the stuff. I'm going to show that also. As you can see here, it's showing as running, which means that yeah, as you can see, started the virtual machine. Now I want to delete this, just click on the delete. Okay, and then yeah, you can choose this. You can also choose it to delete associate resources at the time. Resources that aren't deleted will be offense. Yeah, let's click on the apply for force delete, then click on this one box, and yeah, you have to select all of the stuff: network interfaces, public IP address, because you have already used this public IP address. So just click on the delete. Now everything is, this virtual machine is going to be deleted in some time. So anyway guys, that's all for this video. So in today's video we created a virtual machine, Windows virtual machine. Same thing you can do with the, what we say, with the Ubuntu software or Windows 11 itself. So if you are getting any errors or any problems, so you're going to get, so most of the people get the errors or the problems. So please leave that in the comment. So anyhow guys, that's all for this video, and I hope you liked and enjoyed watching this video. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I will see you all in another tutorial. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.